The SGPC is spreading its wings. It is looking at spreading overseas. And this is actually a really, really good news story because, of course, one thing that the Sikh diaspora, because Sikhs are so widespread geographically, of course, what that Sikh diaspora needs is it needs coordination, it needs communication, it needs drawing into the sort of the global family. And this is really something that the SGPC almost has I would say, a unique position to do so. It is that it can provide that spiritual support, that central core, that nucleus around off which its sort of tentacles can then sort of spread around the world, but send a consistent message. And it's all about consistent message. It's all about, coordination. It's all about ensuring that the global Sikh community speaks with one voice as much as possible because, well, as history has shown, whenever diasporas sort of end up in different parts of the world, they all tend to sort of evolve in their own slightly different ways, and suddenly you end up over the course of a century, for example, you end up with very disparate, very different versions of the same core message because they've just evolved on their own. It's a bit like it's the religious equivalent to the Galapagos Islands, for those who follow the natural world. But basically, I think the fact that the SGPC are doing this is really important for many reasons. Firstly, for what I've just said. Secondly, it's also important in the context of Khalistan and all the arguments that the Sikh community are discussing globally at the moment, particularly when it comes to the United Nations, etc., is that the United Nations must see the Sikh community, globally speaking, as one united voice. And in the past, it has lots and lots of different separate organisations that have all spoken with different voices. And if the UN was to ask the question, well, what is the Sikh community? You get 15, 20, 30 hands being propped up around the world saying, well, it's us, well, it's us, well, it's us. But what the community has needed to do and is now successfully doing is uniting all these voices into less and less numerate organisations. And suddenly now we are getting more and more unification. We've now got the Sikh Federation, for example, that is trying to, again, unite all the Sikh voices globally into that one legal voice, legally speaking, that can approach the United Nations. And we have the SGPC from a more spiritual perspective, ensuring that, again, the global community speaks with that one single voice. So I think this is a really positive, really proactive, positive move on behalf of the SGPC, and I think this should be welcomed. And I think this again, in the context of the whole Khalistan discussion, legally and even spiritually speaking, will have a huge impact.